How's it going, Guardians? Shifty here, and I'm finally back to making videos on my channel. So today I'm going to be starting with a Legend Lost Sector guide. I figured there was no better way to get back into making videos on my channel than going back to an old classic on my channel. So today I'm going to be covering the Rift Legend Lost Sector on Nessus. Now there are a couple of things I want to go over before I get into this one because the tooltip that's available for this Lost Sector is not correct. First of all, there are barrier and overload champions, and there is void burn in this Lost Sector. However, for the shield type here, that is incorrect. There are indeed solar shields on the Shanks, however there are no void shields in this Legend Lost Sector. Instead of void shields, there are two arc shields. There is one arc captain, and there's an arc shield on the final boss as well. Now in today's video, I will be showing you a full run on a Titan, however my strategy should be general enough that you could follow it on a Hunter and a Warlock as well. I also want to point out I tried out a few different loadouts in this Lost Sector, and the one I'm going to be presenting to you is probably the best one that I used today. So I will be showing you that loadout in just a moment, but before I do that, if you end up enjoying today's video, make sure to hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. So first thing is first, I decided to go with a Void subclass. The reason for this is because Void Burn is turned on, so I'm going to get that extra damage from my grenade and melee and super abilities. Again, void damage isn't super helpful here because there are no void shields to contend with, so I just want to point out that I'm only using it for that void burn. As for aspects and fragments on your void subclass, it doesn't matter too much. I would just go with whatever your favorite ones are. However, for supers, I would recommend Sentinel Shield for Titans, Mobius Quiver for Hunters, and Nova Bomb for Warlocks. Next up, for my weapons and my kinetic slot, I have Arbalist. This is going to be for barrier champions and also to break the arc shields that I mentioned. The reason I chose Arbalist here is because I really want to take out the barrier champions quickly in this Legend Lost Sector because they end up shielding quite a few enemies otherwise. Next up, for overload champions, I am going to be using the Solar Bow Strident Whistle. This was the Vanguard Bow from last season. This is going to be for taking out overload champions as well as taking out those solar shields on the Shanks. This is an excellent weapon for taking out those solar shields because it'll one-shot the Shank. Next up, in my heavy slot, I am using the new linear fusion rifle that was just released, and everybody can get this for free by going to the Enclave and getting the quest to be able to craft this weapon. This is a void linear fusion rifle, so it will get that damage boost from void burn, which is why I chose to use this so we can easily take out some of the enemies. If you've been around my channel for a while, you know in my Legend Lost Sector guides, I try to avoid any combat mods, so I kind of go with the basics here. So for my armor mods, I'll just quickly show you each piece of armor, and if you need to see anything in more detail, just pause the video. Alright, and that is it for my loadout in this one. I will be offering live commentary throughout the run to help you out throughout this new Legend Lost Sector. Now, let's get into it. Alright, to start things off, there are going to be several enemies up top over on the right, and there's going to be a barrier champion as well. So I'm going to try to take out as many of these enemies as I can before that barrier champion kind of wraps around here. You can see it approaching right now. I'm going to go for that barrier champion. Alright, I'm going to swap to my Void Linear Fusion for a little bit of extra damage, and that barrier champion is down. You do want to avoid the grenade spam, so if you want to, you can always back up here. For this Lost Sector, I will take it a little bit slower just so I can explain things along the way. I'm going to kind of just sit back here, take out any additional adds that I see. In just a short amount of time, there should be an arc shielded captain around here. And you can also see there's an overload champion. I'll just leave that overload champion for now. Let's try to break this arc captain shield with Arbalist. I'm going to toss a grenade over there. Try to get a few of the enemies down. Maybe even the captain. I did get that captain. And here's that overload champion. It was also in my grenade. So I stunned that overload with my bow and used my linear fusion rifle to take it out. Now we can move on to the next room, which is the main room for this Lost Sector. So I'm going to hop over here right away. Then just to my right, there's going to be a couple of enemies I can take out before any other enemies show up. I'm I'm going to backtrack a little bit and come over here to take out these snipers up top. Linear fusion rifles make a great choice for this lost sector. Now there should be a barrier champion right around here somewhere. You can see it shielding one of those shanks there. It seems to be right above me. That's not ideal, especially since it's shielding one of those shanks right now. But I might be able to scoot over here and get an angle on it. There it is. Let's try to take it out. Alright, stunned. And it's taken care of. And now we can finish off these shanks. These nightmare shanks. I'm going to toss a grenade over there. I do have the fragment that makes void grenades weakening as well, which is very useful here. And as you can see, this bow will one-shot those shanks. One thing you do have to be careful for in this particular lost sector is there are going to be several different ad spawns throughout. You don't want to get overwhelmed, so you kind of want to stick to the edges of the map. You can see another overload champion. So I did stun it with the bow. Overload champion is down. You can see there's some enemies that are going to end up top here. They're going to be up above me. And there's the boss. I'm going to kind of ignore the boss for the time being. I want to avoid those grenades. Like I said, I'm going to ignore the boss for the time being. I was kind of stuck in a little crevice there. You can see the boss over here now. I'm going to make sure everything's reloaded. I'm going to break the shield. Toss a grenade on it. And use my linear fusion rifle for as long as I can. It'll eventually run away. But I'm going to push up over here. Should give me a decent angle. There will be another enemy spawn, of course. And we have those enemies coming around. I'm going to try not to get overwhelmed here. I just want to slowly take them out. Alright, the boss is getting fairly weak. I'm going to toss a grenade on it, and I'm going to go ahead and super. This is where you could use your Mobius Quiver. You could use your Nova Bomb, whatever you have. There are no more champions, so I should have a platinum rating, so I can go ahead and grab the chest as well immediately after that. And just like that, that is a platinum completion of the new Rift Legend Lost Sector. I showed you a full run on a Titan, but there wasn't anything in particular that was specific to a Titan, so this should work just as well for a Warlock or a Hunter. And of course, I went a little bit slower than I normally would, just so I can explain things along the way. And as you get practice with this Legend Lost Sector, you can of course speed it up as well. Anyway, I just want to thank you for watching today's video, and I'll catch you in the next one.